Now you've probably seen the video. A guy puts a Scarlett up against a Neve preamp and says there's no discernible difference. Here's my take. He's actually right. And I'm going to defend him for a minute and then show you why he's answering the wrong question. And he says room treatment's a waste. Most of what's in a studio is a waste. And for most people watching that video, he's actually correct. And that's the uncomfortable bit that nobody really wants to admit. So this is my vocal chain behind me. It's a Neve 1073, it's an 1176, and it's an LA2A. A few years ago, buying this would have been a complete waste of my money. And here's the thing, back then, I couldn't hear it. I couldn't tell you whether the compressor was even switched on or off, never mind whether it was hardware or plug-in. So what would I actually have been buying if I'd done that? Bragging rights. Gear isn't what you buy to get good. It's what you earn your way into as you get good. And that's like buying a Porsche before you've got a driver's license. So the biggest jump for me wasn't the preamps at all. It was the speakers and the room. The moment I had a proper monitoring in a treated space, I could suddenly hear problems in my own mixes that had been there the whole time. Because your room is the last processor in your chain, an untreated room can swing what you hear by 10 or 15 decibels. When I lived in a flat in London and I was on headphones, if I'd invested in a beautiful preamp then, that would have been completely absurd. Now, I've got 5 different hardware compressors, 3 analog EQs, I've got speakers that cost probably 5 or 6 times what my old ones did, and I can genuinely hear the difference between all of them. The 1176 grabs a vocal in a way that the LA2A never could, and this is not collecting. That's having a palette and knowing how to paint with it. Honestly, I used to think this whole thing was just like wine tasting. It was really snobby people who, if in a blind test, couldn't even tell if it was wine or Ribena. There's an old phrase for exactly that, which is all the gear and no idea. And we say it to mock someone, but it's the most useful advice in this whole debate. The gear comes easy. The idea is the hard part, and it takes years. The order matters, and it's the opposite of what people do. It should go room, then monitoring, then your ears. Only once all of that's come up to the same level does the hardware then earn its place. And there's a real test. If you can't reliably hear a compressor bypassing in and out, then you're not buying tools yet, you're just buying jewelry. Why hardware at all? It gets me to the results faster. I can commit with my hands instead of clicking through menus. The hardware isn't magic, it's efficiency in the hands of someone who knows finally what they're listening for. What the Scarlett did was extraordinary. It handed the ability to produce to everyone who'd never had the opportunity otherwise. A laptop isn't the ideal for the work I do, but it lets a whole generation make music who otherwise couldn't have. So the real lesson isn't buy the Neve, and it isn't the Neve's a scam. It's this: bring everything up together. Room, monitoring, skills, then gear, and each one justifying the next. Buy the hardware when you've grown into it, not before. Now the guy in the video heard no difference, and I believe him. The question was never whether the difference is real, it's whether you're ready to hear it.